need it. Sounds of college bowling welcome you to the women's round of 8 here at the 2018 Hoosier Classic taking place at Western Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. and special guest Andrew Anderson is going to be joining us here to kick things off. After 6 traditional games and 15 Baker games, total pinfall determined the 8 teams making it to the bracket finals. Best of 3 to kick things off for the first 2 rounds. Then we get to the best of 5 for the very end. If you go to the description below the video, you can find the oil pattern. It is the same as the men competed on earlier today. William Penn taking the men's title 3.5 to 1/2 over top-seeded Wichita State. Wichita State women in the field looking to make it 5 in a row. And on our featured pair, the top overall seed facing off against number 8 Lindenwood. Our other featured match, number 4 Robert Morris, Illinois against number 5 Grandview. Off to our right on 75 and 76, we have number 2 Newman against number 7 Notre Dame, Ohio. And finally, on 77 and 78, number 3 is St. Ambrose taking on number 6 St. Francis, Illinois. All right, now that we got that out of the way, strikes have already started here on our featured pairs, and we're going to bring in Andrew Anderson once again. Andrew, thanks for joining us again here on Bowl TV.
Thanks for having me. Strikes are coming.
Now we got to see this pattern a little bit earlier today for the men's bracket finals, and back here again for the women. Obviously a little bit different. Rev rate's going to be down, speed's going to be down. What do you kind of expect to see from the women here on this same oil pattern?
A lot of surface on their bowling balls to slow the balls down, and I could see a lot of the straighter players excelling. Playing a little straighter up the lane, like I could see Wichita with Sierra, Sydney Brummett excelling doing that.
Once again, Wichita State, the 4-time defending Hoosier Classic champions. It's been a while since they haven't gotten to graffiti the masking unit, the ultimate goal at the end of the week. William Penn has already got that out of the way. Little simple for them.
Yeah.
Wasn't we've seen some crazy designs. They took it easy though.
Yeah, quite the feat winning this tournament consecutive years in a row, let alone going on 5 that they win today.
This could potentially be number 5.
Crazy.
And for some of the seniors on the team, Sydney Brummett, Holly Ann Johansson, looking to finish off a career with a clean sweep here at the Hoosier. Even more impressive.
That would be quite the feat. I don't know if you saw this, but the 5th bowler for Grandview just had a pocket A10 that was a swisher hit. That was really weird. Unique. On the front 4, too.
The only blemish so far for Grandview, but Vikings have built an early lead. Open for Robert Morris as well in the 3rd. Really open from Wichita State as well, but they don't seem too concerned right now. Still keeping it pretty.
Yeah, they stick to their game. They take it by their pace.
Still quite laid back there in the settee, a little bit beyond the camera's view. How important is that for a team to really stay loose? You know, whether it's going good, whether it's going bad, when you kind of get into this environment, just to kind of keep things cool.
Well, when you lead the field by 450, I bet you they're pretty comfortable at the moment. They're having a good time. Shockers always do a good job of bowling at their pace and whatever that may be at that time. Sometimes they'll speed it up, sometimes they'll take it slow. Right now it looks like they're just trying to get into a groove. Literally and figuratively. They're dancing.
There is dancing going on, yes. And a nice break like that will help as Kayla Ovesny
that'll loosen the swings.
Crosses over for the strike.
It's very early on, but I think Grandview is playing the lanes the correct way at the moment and keeping the ball in play for the most part. The score shows for it.
We've seen Lindenwood kind of take a different approach, playing a little bit further left.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
They ran into their first bit of trouble here in the 5th, 4, 6, 7.
A little bit of a slow start for Notre Dame. Opening in the first 3 frames. Newman's off to a big lead in that match, 175-6.
Newman's been right around the top all weekend so far. Wichita State really put it together an impressive performance in Baker today.
Yes.
You mentioned the 450-pin lead, but it was much closer than that after yesterday's opening round.
Yeah, they put on quite the performance there. They had a Baker set of like I believe it was 1170.
It was right around there. I think 1150 or so.
Yeah, it was still a monster number for what the scores were.
Grandview has slowed down a little bit here, back half of the game at number 1, but still fairly good position against Robert Morris.
Yeah, off to a good start here. A little bit of a hiccup there, but a good spare by Wichita. By Joe Hansen.
Yeah, will be interesting to see if Lindenwood. I think they're kind of going all in on playing further left.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen there. I don't even know if I saw them in practice throw a couple shots straight. I think they set to a game plan early on.
Obviously, getting a chance to see the pattern, kind of develop a game plan from there. But you think there's any defense as well in that they're not even technically kind of around where Wichita State is playing it, but do you think they're trying to get away from what Wichita State is doing just because they've been so dominant here?
If it was a longer than a 3-game match, I think that would be a really good strategy because Wichita playing them a little straighter will help you later on in the games. But without a lot of rev rate, you're not going to change the pattern significantly in a 3-game match. So I think they kind of just took what they felt was the best thing they could do early on, and they're just going to stick to their game plan and see how it works out. I think at the moment, I don't think Wichita's. I think they're both in the middle ground. I think Lindenwood's farther left than Wichita, and I don't think Wichita is far enough right for what they're trying to do at the moment, in my opinion.
Well, we'll get to see the adjustments here. Definitely not the first 5 frames Wichita State was looking for. A few washouts here.
I think.
But back-to-back covers.
Yeah, a washout to them is a 9 space.
Good problem to have. Grandview and Robert Morris going to be the first match done. Grandview is going to take the 1-0 lead. Just a matter of final score.
That's now what you want to see if you know it. It looks as if Newman's going to take a 1-game lead. They need Town in the 10th, and Notre Dame is a few frames behind. So a rough start for Notre Dame as well. But hopefully they're going to use these next few frames, try to figure it out, and build on it.
That's a great point. Obviously, pinfall kind of falls out here, and each game doesn't necessarily affect you. You win, you lose, you lose. So total score.
I personally think that's why Wichita's taking the pace on the slower side. If they lose the match early, then so be it. They'll figure out a way to win the next one. I think that's why in match play you see them do that more often. Like, if you're Wichita right now and you see your split, you get a little confidence going and you give yourself the chance to figure them out.
And also by being the higher seed, they got to select lane, so they would happen to finish on that lane if we happen to get to game 3. 208-167, the official tally. Grandview versus Robert Morris, Illinois.
Lindenwood needs a couple strikes here if they want to put some pressure on Wichita, I think. Wichita made those couple washouts, and that's kind of the game changer here. Really good shot from Haley.
So 174, now the max score for the Lions of Lindenwood. That's definitely still out there for Wichita State. Not striking, but filling frames.
Yep.
Until there.
Newman with 213 game one, and Notre Dame with a max of 170 with the 10th frame to come. So Newman with the 1 game lead. I think Granby makes some good shots. I think they're playing lanes the right way, but I wouldn't count Robert Morris out. Looks like they have a lot of fight in them.
Robert Morris, the 2014 ITC champions.
Teams change a lot.
Definitely so. A few years removed from that title.
A lot of new faces out here that I'm not super familiar with. I think, is that the 3rd washout for Wichita now?
That would be the 3rd one, yep.
I think she makes it.
They are 2 for 2.
I think she makes it. All right. Oh, I'm wrong. 0 for 102 today. Makes that match a little closer. But if you're Wichita, you got to stay clean. 163 max for Lindenwood here. She spares and strikes.
Yes, uncertain.
Those washout spares are very important at this point.
Yeah, that is certainly the difference right now. And, for some teams there might be a concern after, some not great shots to kick things off. But Wichita State coach Mark Lewis got to feel pretty confident with 2 All-Americans coming up here at the back end of the lineup.
Never a bad thing to have Holly Grant and Sydney Drummond. I'm just going to stop talking. Earlier today, I had Wesley. Needed 9 to shut him out. I thought for sure it was a lock. Fortunately, he got 5. They still won. But I feel like I've been constantly wrong today, so I'm going to let you do all that from now on.
All right, I'm used to being wrong, so that's okay.
I can't be right today. Pound's huge here.
161 finish for LU.
160.
Oh, 160.
Yeah, 7.
Oh. See, I'm already taking over.
I appreciate it. Did she make it again? Is that another washout spare?
Oh!
Are you 3 for 4 on the washout?
Oh my. Looks like St. Francis, Illinois in the books with a 191.
And that will be a winner, 184 max for the St. Ambrose Bees.
Sydney Brummett just needs a mark for Wichita State to go up 1-0. Looking to make it 5 consecutive titles here at the Hoosier Classic.
I mean, you don't make a washout there. You're turning 160 into 130. I mean, so you just turn a 130 into 170 possibly. That's why spare shooting is so important. So important.
You'll see Sydney enter the right side of your screen in just a moment. There she is.
It's a pretty good shot.
Got that one to come back. So you're back on track. Just a matter of a count now. Wichita State will go up 1-0.
What a roller coaster. You're thinking every time they wash out, hey, we got to break a little bit. Nope. We make them.
Robert Morris responding nicely here.
Yeah, Rob Morris not going without a fight.
Grandview, though, continues to look impressive here in the early goings. The bracket finals at the Hoosier Classic.
Ooh. Robert Morris with a big double in the 7th and 8th, and we gain the lead.
All right, other matches, Newman up 1-0. St. Francis, Illinois up 1-0. Grandview Ari up 1-0. They're not wasting any time here on 71-72.
No,
they're flying.
I think that's the difference with Wichita. They're playing at their pace, and now Lindenwood's been sitting for a good amount of time. I think that's the difference. They really took their time there. Let's see how Lindenwood responds.
Now, during your times on the collegiate stage, was pace of play ever a focus for your teams, or was it kind of based off of what was going on in the moment?
It was what's going on in the moment. When I bowled for Weber, we were a big pace of play. We wanted to get going. We wanted to get the ball rolling. We wanted the match to be over as soon as we could get it over. I feel like if you post a score and you have a team looking at your score saying, that's the score I have to beat, it's a lot harder than just bowling. Like, if you just bowl your score and whatever happens, happens, and the other team has to worry about getting to your score. So to me, it's very impressive what Wichita can do when taking the pace as slow as they do sometimes, because they sometimes get 3 or 4 frames behind in a match, and you have to look up at the score, and if you need a 3-bagger, you know you need a 3-bagger. So to me, that's a very impressive aspect of what they do. It's a big split here for Rob Morris. They could have locked the matchup. She needs counter for sure. If she gets 3, she has 210, and that would make Grandview have to mark out. All right.
Takes the 3.
Yep.
Foundation frame. How about that?
That is a good shot there. So that would mean any spare and 9 will take Grandview to the round of 4.
That is right.
See, from now on, I'm just going to say things that are already true, so I can't be wrong.
It's a bold move. I like it.
Bold strategy.
All right, Grandview. Looking to take care of business right here. Gonna have a chance.
Another shot.
Vikings advancing.
Vikings advancing. Great fight from Rob Morris. Big split in the 10th. Very unfortunate, but what a fight. I think Grandview's playing the lanes correctly, and we'll see what happens on the next pair, but I think if they keep making good shots, it's going to be hard to beat them.
They will face the winner of Wichita State and Lindenwood. Just in the early stages of their game number 2. So while we were broadcasting the men's finals, also going on the TVs around us, championship round of the PBA 60th Anniversary Classic, Jacob Buttriff ended up taking home the title.
Jacob Buttriff is I don't even know if there's a word, amazing, impressive, incredible. What he does with his bowling ball is unmatched. Like, most people are physically unable to do it. So when you have something that's special, you're going to win. And when you have the head on the shoulders that he does, you're going to win a lot. So very impressive performance this week. He beat me by 500, and I was only 4 places or 5 places behind. So to do that on the PBA Tour is an incredible feat in its own, and then I'm very happy that he got to take home that title. He was very deserving.
Definitely great. Also, a teammate of yours on Team USA now.
Yeah.
.230 to .210, final tally there.
Yeah. Great ball in Grandview.
Grandview with the 2-0 sweep.
I think Wichita's trying to figure him out.
And as usual, that would be trouble for everyone else.
Yeah. And by figuring them out, I mean City and Holly haven't bowled yet. So, that right lane's a little bit of trouble. A lot of washouts.
.710 stands for a second. We've seen quite a few of those over the course of just qualifying throughout the week here at Western Bowl. Holly-Ann gets the kick on the 7, though. Single pin shouldn't be a problem. Newman also holds the advantage in game 2. A little closer this game, though.
St. Ambrose is also down in game 2. Count. You don't really realize how much count affects things until it's all said and done. We'll see if it affects it this time, but big split in the 8th for Notre Dame. That could spell trouble.
Yeah, Newman just has to avoid the mistakes the rest of the way out. Keep it clean, fill frames. But moving back to the semifinals for the 2nd consecutive year here at the Hoosier Classic.
Avoided the split.
6-10s everywhere.
Their demeanor is so fun. Like, they get more excited when they throw a bad shot. They're like, oh, better throw the next one better. Their demeanor is fun to watch.
Definitely a great team atmosphere there. Although we talked a little bit about yesterday, on their way to Western Bowl, they forgot someone. How do you forget Coach Lewis?
I know.
They left him at the hotel and
And
hopped on the bus.
Coach made him do some workouts on the lanes. That's I don't know how you forget your coach, but I'm sure they didn't mean to, and I'm sure that he's going to get him back for it.
Whoa.
Notre Dame with the big spare conversion on a PBA washout, and they're giving this a chance here.
Strike in the 9th. 189 their max score.
And
Newman on a 192 pace.
Newman will spare here at 192 left. She does convert it. St. Ambrose down 11 with 4 frames to go. And St. Francis is on a double.
That might spell the end for Notre Dame Ohio's run. 2-4.
She fouled on the spare too. Newman did. I did not know that.
Oh.
So that split is going to hurt them. They had a chance. It's hard. It's hard to be at the end of the game when they're touchy like this. You got to make some really, really good shots, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Newman just locked it up, going on to the next round. Linwood's going to need a couple strikes here if they want a chance in this game. I don't see Wichita making any more mistakes.
Nice conversion from Notre Dame, Ohio of the
They just keep making every split. So
2-4-10. So
any spare here. 3-10 stood for a second.
9 forces Notre Dame, Ohio to strike to at least potentially force a tie.
Yeah.
If Newman's unable to convert the 3-pin there. Otherwise, the Jets advance, and Jets are moving on.
Looks like St. Ambrose, every time I say something. Wash out in the 10th for St. Francis. With a spare, they get 212 or 213.
213, I think.
With a spare strike, and St. Ambrose Bees can throw the last 5, but now the last 4 for 204. So she needs a spare here to lock him up. If not, St. Ambrose will have a chance.
It's gotten awfully quiet here at Western Bowl. St. Ambrose takes care of the spare. Still have an outside chance to keep this
They need the next 3 no matter what.
match
It's
going.
just whether they get a chance or not. If she makes this washout, the match is over.
It has been the theme of this round.
I know. It's crazy. Oh. She makes it out of the
Oh.
back again.
Goodness.
That is crazy. You don't see that too often. Twice. Wichita at a 2-0 pace. Linwood needs to spare the next 3 for 190. So bearing any mistakes here, Wichita has a good chance of moving on.
So Andrew, obviously with college bowling, the opportunity to compete in the more traditional sense, 5-player team games, and then of course the Baker aspect. Just what was it about Baker that really you really enjoyed as a competitor out there?
Well, there's nothing that's harder but more thrilling than needing something. In a Baker game, you get 2 shots. So every shot means so much because you control the fate almost of what your score is, but also the atmosphere that you create. Like bad shots, I mean, it's hard to get out of an atmosphere when you have some bad shots going. So one thing leads into another in Bakers. It seems like you see people get on rolls, you see 4-baggers, 5-baggers. You also see the other side, you see one bad shot leading to another. So in Bakers, my favorite part, and thankfully a lot of the time I was towards the end of the lineup, when it got crunch time, nothing was more thrilling than needing a couple strikes to seal it up. That's what I enjoyed most about it. I would say that Bakers is just such a fun thing to be a part of because you can't control a game. It's 5 people on the team. Like Sydney and Holly, incredible bowlers, but they only control 40% of what the Wichita Shockers can do.
Emil and I were talking about a little throughout the week, kind of the equalizer out here on the collegiate bowling scene of needing that full team aspect. I think that 40% point is so true that, you know, in a traditional sense, you can rely on 2 or 3 folks to really carry you. In this Baker format with just that 2 shots or 40%, a game can go south quickly.
Yeah, and that's why the best teams generally win. You're going to have a lot of really good players, and I was very fortunate to bowl with some of the best collegiate players around at Weber. There was times that you just kind of sit around and watch in awe of how good teams can be when a lot of good players are put together.
And Wichita sealed up the win there.
Yeah.
So we have a full clean sweep here in the opening round.
Yeah, that is not expected, but
so that's going to mean after our competitors get to their next pairs, 10 minutes of practice will be in for the semifinals. Those matchups, Wichita State taking on Grandview and St. Francis, Illinois against Newman.
very interested to see the Wichita and Grandview match. Can Grandview stay hot? They had 440 for 2, where Wichita looked like they struggled a bit first game, but definitely came on as of late.
Just a matter of final score here. before we conclude this round. So, Mr. Anderson, gonna stick around with us for one
I think
more?
so, yeah. I want to see what happens here.
Fantastic. All right, we'll at the conclusion of this game, we'll take a quick break, get the cameras readjusted as we're going to go to some different pairs. 73 and 74 is going to be out play for this round, but 75 and 76 will. So we'll make some moves to make sure that happens. Championship match back on 73 and 74, and even looking further down the road, could Wichita State have been so confident knowing that championship match is on this pair that, you know, maybe playing a little bit further right was something even further down the line?
I'll tell you that when we qualified high at Weber, that was definitely part of our game plan. We were confident enough that we were going to be back on that pair, so we prepared for it. So I could definitely see Coach Mark Lewis planning for it.
Great stuff there. Final shot. Lindenwood fought their way into the bracket. Unfortunately, not enough against Wichita State. 226 to 182 for the 2-0 sweep for the Shockers. So we're going to wait for the semifinals next. Teams are going to move. And we'll be right back here on Bowl TV. Andrew, thanks again for joining us, and we'll be ready to have you back in just a few.
Perfect, thanks.
All right, folks, don't go too far. Semifinals at the 2018 Hoosier Classic coming up next here on Bowl TV. All right, folks, we're back for the semifinals here at the 2018 Hoosier Classic taking place at Western Bowl in Indianapolis, Indiana. Semifinal time, top 4 teams left. St. Francis, Illinois, and Newman facing off on 71 and 72. Wichita State and Grandview over on 75 and 76. We'll be going back and forth between those matches. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. Once again joining the booth, special guest, Team USA member Andrew Anderson. Andrew, both of these teams 2-0 in the last round, kind of set the pace early in both of those matches and kind of rolled to wins. What do you expect from these two teams? Newman a little bit more established, St. Francis kind of a newer team out here have made the ITCs the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a much closer match maybe. I thought the last matches were going to be a lot closer than they were. All the matches going 2-0 is unprecedented. You don't see that very often. So I think it's whoever gets off to the better start here and gets some confidence going. It's really about just getting on cruise control at this point. Some of these cheers are very unique as well.
There's so many questions I have, and back in my days of college bowling way back when, it was a little tamer as far as the cheers. And
you don't hear it as much on the guys' side. So when you watch in the women's side, and don't get me wrong, the teams I bowled for, our women's side got crazy at some points. It's a lot quieter in here.
I can hear myself typing.
Moving off to a double.
We saw Grandview get off to a strong start as well on lane 72 on their way to a 2-0 victory. Actually averaged about 220 for their 2 games. Newman delivering a pair of strikes before a 2-pin in the third.
I think Grandview's doing a great job of staying out of trouble. Somebody's got a super suit.
Oh. Got the guys' teams getting involved as well. That's what we like to see.
Early miscue from Wichita.
Once again, we will be going back and forth between the matches, so take a quick first look over here. You can see Grandview clean through 3. Wichita State, as Andrew mentioned, the early miscue in the second after a strike.
I think these matches are going to be a little lower scoring. I think the atmosphere, because it's quieter in here, there's a couple less people, and when you strike, it goes so crazy. I think it's going to add some emotion and some intensity here, and I think shot making will become a little tougher. Good shot there, Michaela.
Now, you mentioned that quietness and getting to be in that environment, and obviously making your TV debut just a few weeks ago at the TOC. I mean, I wouldn't even know what to think about that type of situation, not only knowing, that all eyes in the house are on you on that pair of lanes, but also, everyone back home, everyone across the country.
It was crazy. Live ESPN, that was crazy. It was dead silent when you're standing up on the approach. I thought I did a really good job of just focusing on the lane. They teach you, all the coaches you'll work with, when I coach people and I help people, I mean, you always are told, it's you in the lane, you in the lane. It really becomes you in the lane when it's really quiet, and you really start thinking about that. The really great players learn how to key that out. And I think that's where the more experienced players will here in this atmosphere will excel. St. Francis off to a little bit of a rough start here.
Looking at back-to-back opens here in the 5th and 6th. First sign of trouble for Newman. Looking at the 2-10. We're gonna take the one here. We've seen pins kick out a little bit here though.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at any point when a split is made.
Nearly had a 7-10 actually here on live stream. I forget what school it was, but he actually shot at the 7-pin and brought it across, and it was actually in front of the 10-pin.
Oh, wow.
So we don't get to see those too often. But always fun when they do happen.
Good shot from Kayla there for Grandview. They're just doing a really good job right now, staying in play. I think if the scores get a little lower, that's the main focus. Wichita with a couple early missed spares.
Yeah, not a characteristic we're used to seeing with Mark Lewis-led teams.
I don't know if anybody in the building has better ball reaction than Sydney Brummer right now, and she's one of the best shot makers that I've seen. So put those two things together, I think she's going to be throwing a lot of strikes. So if you're Grandview, you're trying to close this out for the 10th frame.
This round, once again, best of 3. So being able to grab that first game, very important here. Grandview clean through 6, looking to take advantage of those opens.
Pretty shot. See, and you have the two different strategies. You have some of the players playing straighter, and you have Newman, who we saw Lindenwood play a little deeper than the other teams, and didn't work out the greatest for them. But Newman's a little deeper than even Lindenwood was. So I'm curious to see how that works out for them. So far, it's okay. A couple splits here.
We'll head back to Wichita State and Grandview for a moment. Sierra Kanimoto cleans up the spare, no problem. Grandview gives back a few pins in count, but everything together there, 1, 2, 4, 8. Newman only able to get 1 on that split.
That match became a lot closer.
The pace seems a little bit slower this round for sure. Teams.
It's a little quieter. Nerves are going. They really want it.
Great shot there in the 8th. Trouble for Wichita State though.
Wichita is very uncharacteristic at the moment.
Grandview is staying clean, looking to upset the 4-time defending champions.
But because they're 4-time defending champions, I think the pressure is on Grandview still. You gotta finish this game out and get off to that 1-0 lead. Boy, through the middle for Newman.
Goodness.
This match has gotten really interesting. A 173 max for University of St. Francis. And with count, Newman will also be in the 170s. So a few splits here is really even out this game.
St. Francis, their anchor bowler, Abby Ragsdale, the reigning Rookie of the Year. Looks like head coach Tony Taylor gonna have her step off for a second.
Grandview with their first miscue, missed spare in the 8th. Still with a 14-pin advantage if Wichita strikes here. Okay. So the match is technically tied.
Essentially all tied up here, yep.
Yep. So whatever Abby does, Kelly must match for Newman. Alright, well the stage is set. Mark and a strike for Kelly. And they will win game 1. Looks left. It's not going to be an easy spare.
Definitely not a fun one here, especially on a Nick Hoagland pattern.
Yeah, this is Wichita fighting back as well. Doubling the 8th and 9th, max of 189. Grandview needs a first strike and a 10th to lock the first game up.
Hannah Munson going to be making that shot for the Vikings.
Looks good. Good spare. That's a good spare.
That is a great spare.
Hannah up on lane 76 with the strike. So now she needs 7 spare to lock the Sydney Brumman and the Shockers out.
St. Francis going to make it a little bit easier here. 159.
So 8 is good.
Giving back a few pins.
7 is good, I'm sorry. Sitting with a really good shot, 7 pin. So Grandview will take game 1. Newman, Kelly needs 7 to take game 1. That looks left as well.
Gonna cross over though. Good 9. Good win. 162 to 159.
That 3-9 was, or 3-9? 3-9 was an impressive spare. Hannah with a double in the 10th. Grandview up 1 game to none, but don't take anything for granted over there. Wichita will be fighting back.
Now, Andrew, we were talking during the break. Going to have some cool opportunities to kind of get yourself out there a little bit more as far as, you know, being behind the camera. Not only, of course, on the lanes, hopefully, but, you know, with your ball company, Ebonite, and getting the opportunity to work various events, Junior Gold last year.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that moving forward and kind of what you want to accomplish from that, and, of course, where people can follow you and keep tabs with you on social media as well.
You know, bowling is a big, big part of my life, and I'm going to be competing for hopefully a very long time to come. But also a part of bowling is creating a following, and I love meeting new, young, ambitious bowlers like myself was 7 or 8 years ago. And Junior Gold was a huge, huge thing with that. Ebonite gave me the opportunity to do Ebonite by 365 at the Junior Gold registration. It was a very cool opportunity to meet a lot of young bowlers and see some of the great young talents coming forward. Coming up, I believe I will be working Junior Gold again. That is the plan as of right now. I'm going to do a lot of traveling coming up for myself, competing. So if any of you want to follow me on my journey here, I will be going to France and Germany next month to compete in the Brunswick Euro Challenge in Munich, Germany, and a team event in France. If you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, it's at @AAnderson300. I know it's very original. But, yeah, feel free to follow me. I always need some more followers. Any questions for me, that's where you can reach me at. I do have a new fan page on Facebook as well that is under @Anderson300. Go ahead and follow me. It'd be sweet. I'm excited for all the things coming. 2018 has been so great to me. Can't wait to see what's in store.
Now, Andrew, since you mentioned that, as we start up game 2 here, one of our coworkers back at USBC has he's an energetic young man, and he's trying to kind of motivate himself and start things. And you mentioned 2018 and great. He's kind of melded those two. I wanted your opinion. He doesn't call it 2018. He says it's 20 great team.
20 great team.
How do you feel about that?
So far, I'm agreeing.
I absolutely
So
100%.
far, I'm agreeing. I like it. I like it.
Brant, you have another fan. 20 grade team continues to travel on. And
A couple missed spares here early on from all the teams, really, except for Wichita. Grandview definitely needs to keep on it if they want to take out the 4-time reigning champions of the Hoosier Classic. I'm just going to take a wild guess and says she makes it.
wash out the theme of the day here. Can make it anyway.
Good spare by Newman.
The Newman boys team taking care of business. It's getting a little quieter here. And they're going to take advantage of that to motivate their teammates.
All right. Couple early opens for St. Francis. Newman is looking to take advantage. Maybe.
Becca King has made some pretty good shots here in the semifinals. Being able to kind of get to a place where no one else is at, opening up the lane.
Yeah, she has some rev range. She's taking advantage of it. Nicole Choa and her sister, Lauren. A very good shot there on lane 72.
Newman looking for the double. Leanne Vassbender. The Jets on point today.
Yeah, I think these are cheered. I think they got on their bus and on their way here. They were planning this out.
How big of a part is that? You know, obviously, college bowling get the opportunity to travel across the states, and probably do get to spend quite a bit of time, you know, traveling by bus. You know, some events potentially get to fly as well. But
I think the special part about collegiate bowling is when you have a full team, both guys and girls that want to support each other. It's a very special thing. Wichita front runners of that, along with teams like Weber, Lindenwood. You always have the support of the other team there right behind you. I promise you, if the women weren't bowling earlier today, and when Wichita was in the finals and the men's side, you would have been hearing the women scream for them. Great shot there from Jordan.
no strikes yet in game number 2. Grandview and Wichita State.
Chop spare.
Each team with an open now.
They're getting tough.
You did predict that.
They're getting tough.
So we're on the board.
We're on the board. I got one. I think Holly. I'm gonna take a prediction here. I think Holly and Sydney throw a double, and I think they get Wichita rolling here.
All right, we'll go. Holly Ann's gonna be far right of your screen.
Great shot. I think just that alone gives that team some motivation. She throws one that good, makes the person behind you want to throw it even better.
That match will be close through the halfway point. A little bit further along here. Newman and St. Francis, Illinois.
Newman needs to stay out of trouble here.
And Wichita State unable to convert that 10th in. So we saw that in game number
Mark
1.
Lewis is not going to be super ecstatic at the moment.
That was Grandview's response, you could hear.
Yep. Sydney. With a strike. I was half correct. That was close.
Big time response. They need to kick-start it at the top of the lineup now. Looks like Sierra Kadimoto is going to be that player for the Shockers. But Grandview not going anywhere.
Grandview's fighting. Amanda Duplan with a big strike there in the 7th. So St. Francis here is fighting. They have a max of 190. Newman is on pace for 2-0. So Becca King here with another big shot. Try to help block it out. Not.
That was fortunate. Just to leave.
The double now as well. Sarah strikes in the 6th. And this is fun. Bakers are fun. So much happens in such little time.
That is definitely right. Looking for 3 in a row.
And they did it.
Hannah Duver.
We were talking earlier about how Wichita takes the match a little slower at times, and they're a couple frames behind. Fortunately, I think University of St. Francis, with that split, it is just about over. Great run here. Great run here at the Hoosier Classic. Top 4 finish. That'll give you a lot of confidence going into section and postseason.
Definitely will. This team's had a top 4 at the ITCs back in 2015, actually their first ITC experience, so they've had some players who've been able to be a part of that program and help it grow. But this match, 167 in the books, just about over. 7 there will do it, so we'll go to Wichita State and Grandview.
Well, Grandview has a max of 236. Wichita now with a max of 211. This one.
Oh!
Gets the crossover. We've seen that a few times today.
Rebecca Browerman
Well,
gets the hit, and
Wichita will need some help here if they would like to keep the streak alive. Hannah Munson for Grandview gets a chance to go up and lock it up.
so we already had a new men's champion in William Penn.
Good spare.
Could it be the same on the women's side? Shockers up against the wall.
This is where I think it's tough to be behind a few frames in a match. You look up at the score and it's a must-strike opportunity. Hannah for Grandview decides to get up and see if she can lock it up.
Gotta stay offensive in this at this point. It's been working for the team, and attempted to ride the momentum, comes in a little light.
So spare here in 8
would be a winner.
Another washout for Wichita, unfortunately.
That's going to do it.
That's going to do it. I think Wichita's going to learn from this. They have a couple miscues and misspares. They would have loved to, of course, win for the 5th year in a row, but they're getting ready. That's a really, really, really great team, and I You can quote me on this one. You're going to be seeing them later in the season.
All right. I'm going to believe that too. And this has been kind of a theme. Emil and I have discussed it in the past. You know, for the women's team, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years since they've taken home a title at the ITC. They've been close many times. Runners up not too many years ago to Weber International.
What sucked for me that year is I was sitting there on the sidelines watching Weber win, and we had just finished third. But I have a lot of friends on the Wichita team. It was really hard to cheer. I was cheering for both teams. Like, nothing but love for the Wichita girls and guys teams. They're great, monumental in the sport, and Shockers will be back.
Definitely think so, and maybe, you know, you hate to say a tournament win is bad moving into the postseason, but maybe, you know, Wichita State,
they're saving their win.
Could be saving it. Maybe this is a little chip on the shoulder for them, saying, you know, especially for some of the seniors, Sydney Hallian, you know, probably wanted to end their career with a title at the Hoosier, sectional win, and Helmer Cup.
Yep.
And, you know, with the Hoosier now, not going to happen, as we're going to have a new titleist here in 2018. Maybe that's the just the nudge the Shockers need to
I think Mark Lewis
get back
has a
into
plan.
it.
I think he has a plan in store. We're going to have a new champion here at the Hoosier this year. And as much as he's probably disappointed about it today, I think a few days from now he's going to look back on it, and it could be a blessing in disguise. Any great bowler will tell you there was some time in their career where they had a letdown that kind of propelled them for all the upside.
Wichita State's going to finish it out here. 2:14 in the books for Grandview. Wichita State one more can get to 185, but not going to be enough. So Grandview and Newman going to be heading to 73 and 74 for our finals here at the Hoosier Classic. We started with 66 teams here in the women's field. Now down to 2. Any predictions here before we get to the final match, Mr. Anderson?
I don't want to root against anybody, but my prediction, this is the best of 5, correct?
Best of 5 moving to the championship match, yep.
I really have liked what Grandview's been doing. I think they've been playing the lanes properly, but what I think is about to hurt them, and I don't want to black cloud them, but they're going to repair where Lindenwood and Wichita both started pretty far left. Maybe they know that. Maybe they're planning for it. I don't know. But I think it's going to favor Newman at this point. I think the lanes have broken down on 73 and 74 to favor Newman for the way they're playing the lanes. And I could see Newman winning this 3-1.
All right, there we go. Early prediction. We'll get to see it in just a little bit here on Bowl TV. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to move to 73 and 4, move the cameras around. The teams will get 10 minutes of practice as well. So, Andrew, you made it through 2 rounds. How about one more?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Fantastic. All right, folks. We'll be right back with the final match. Grandview taking on Newman for the title here at the 2018 Hoosier Classic at Western Bowl, Indianapolis. Don't go too far. Final match coming up next here on Bowl TV. All right, folks, we are back for the finals here at the. That was Grandview. All right, they're ready to go.
They're ready.
We are back for the finals here. The final. It seems like we've been here for like 3 weeks, but just one very long weekend. But we're here at the end. Final match at the Hoosier Classic 2018, the 49th edition of this great event. The final Tier 1 of the USBC collegiate season, as well as teams prepare for the postseason coming up shortly here. Grandview taking on Newman University. Should be a good one. I'm Aaron Smith alongside Emil Williams Jr. and Andrew Anderson, Team USA member, PBA standout, joining us here in the booth on Bowl TV.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. I've been talking to Emil all week. You need to talk to someone else.
Emil's a fun guy. Come on.
Absolutely. He definitely helps keep us sane out there for some of those long days. So much appreciated for all the help. Of course, all the folks here on Bowl TV keeping us company as well. We appreciate your viewership. Could not do it without you.
Grandview with another strong start. They're just rolling. They had both teams are undefeated so far. I would like to see what happens when a team is backed up against the wall.
Something, as you mentioned, neither team has had to face that moment so far.
Yeah.
It's going to happen here.
Yeah.
We are out of options.
That we are.
Switching to a best of 5 format here. Tough pickup there.
That is, with the spare ball, that is a tough one. Okay.
Yeah, she's
Well,
very polite. She said thank you, so that's all you can ask for.
Ooh.
We
9-10.
We call the 2, 4, 5, 7, 8 the bucket and a biscuit back home.
Yeah.
I know that because I leave a lot of them, so they had to.
That is not a fun. That is not a fun one to be bowling.
It's not yet. It's mostly due to my poor shot making, so that's usually why I leave them. So.
Well, at least you get half. You know?
That's true. That's the positive outlook that we need for that.
We bowl a tournament in Port Huron, Michigan, and the whole building, if you get 4, will stop and scream 4. The whole building.
Wow.
And it's 40 lanes. So they literally make everybody stop, and they embarrass you for getting 4.
Now, is it like any 4 or
Any 4.
any 4?
Any 4. You get 4, you are getting hollered at.
Enjoy that motivation to get 5 then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 5 is good. 5 is good.
2017 Newman made it to the semifinals here at the Hoosier Classic, fell to eventual runner-up Concordia. They actually might have lost to Wichita State. I'm getting my years mixed up here. I believe they lost to Wichita State now that I'm thinking about it. But being able to take it one step further here, definitely for a few of these players who've been on the team for a few years. Definitely a nice added bonus. We kind of talked about Wichita State maybe not winning the Hoosier as some extra motivation, a chip on the shoulder.
I think both of these teams could use this as a big, big confidence booster. I think both of them will anyways. Getting to the final of this tournament is grueling. Grandview having to take out Wichita the match before, you'd have to feel like they feel pretty comfortable in this situation.
Becca King only able to get 3 there, so 14-pin advantage to the Vikings of Grandview.
Grandview is just doing a great job of keeping the ball in play. They've thrown some doubles in key situations.
Now, how much does a match, you bowl in for Weber, obviously you guys often were one of the favorites coming into every tournament. For a school like Grandview, Wichita State, 4-time champion, reigning player of the year, having all those, having, just the fact that
Yeah.
the folks they're bowling's wearing Wichita State on the back, automatically it's got to make you like tighten up your swing a little bit.
You can use it two ways. I think Grandview used that as Wichita had a target on their back, and I don't think they were going down without a fight. There are some times that you'll see some teams. I think what helped Grandview the most is I think getting off to that early start gave them some confidence against Wichita, and I think that was the difference. If Wichita gets off to a better start, they kind of impose their will, then you're looking uphill, in my opinion, in that situation. But Grandview getting off to a good start, a comfortable start, really gave them some confidence and kind of told themselves that we're just another team, and we bowl our game, we can get it done. For us at Weber, I always felt like we had a target on our back. Some of the greatest matches we had were from teams that, from on a sheet of paper, it says we're supposed to win, but that's never the case. Everybody has to throw their shots, and that's what makes it so much fun.
Definitely pushing you guys and everybody to be better in those situations. It's definitely fun to compete at that level. Obviously, you get to, sometimes, some teams kind of find themselves in awe in those situations. Just
Yeah, it was very filling to be in some of those situations. Um, Nationals, I only went the 1 year with Weber, and that will be a moment that I look back on for a very, very long time. Grandview with a 4-pin lead through 6 frames.
yeah, pretty close here. Game number 1 splits the 2-4-5 perfectly.
So because you get 5 a lot, do you get a lot of practice at that spare?
Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, that really doesn't help me cover it as often as I like, but
Well, we went from having a lot of 1, 2, 4, 10 combinations to a lot of 2, 4, 5 combinations.
now what is that telling you from their ball reaction?
They're using the friction more. There's more friction on the lane. They'll get into the pocket a little easier. Some of the missed cue shots are no longer missing the head pin, but they're trying to get there. So lanes are progressing. I need to stop talking. I think Nick Holden's loving this. Sneaky guy, makes some unique patterns. This being one of them.
I think he just likes the moment when he's watching here after a long day of waxing lanes and come back and,
Get to relax for a bit.
get to relax like he's doing right now and kind of get to see the shot making. And I think he gets a little joy when he sees people walk back like, what's happening out here? But of course, I think that's one of the coolest things, and Nick's kind of built a reputation for, and it's still so cool to kind of hear it, especially talking to kids. I say kids now, but folks who have kind of been through the Hoosier Classic a few times with the H2M management crew and the great job they do at this event. But you kind of get to know when Nick's doing patterns, there's always something a little tricky about it. It's never as it seems when you just look at the graph.
Yeah, Becca King with another big shot there in the 8th for Newman. One thing I've always liked about the Hoosier is when Nick Holden makes a pattern, sometimes he'll put out something real flat, but generally speaking, he always makes them playable from one part of the lane or another. And so he really gives the players a fair chance. Whoever figures it out first has the advantage. I think that's where I think that's why you see a lot of the same teams each year leading or being in the top 2 or 3 going into the match play portion, because it just seems like they're a little better at figuring out. Big double from Newman. It looks with that 7-10, unless there's a conversion here. Looks like Newman may be taking a 1-0 lead.
This would be that first sign of adversity for Grandview.
Yeah, after taking out Wichita 2-0. I don't think their conference is going to go anywhere. They're just going to take this as an off game.
9 will be enough. Newman takes the 1-0 advantage. Best of 5 title match here at the Hoosier Classic. For Grandview, they know they're going to be back on this lane. So we'll see if they use that to their advantage in game number 3. Now, Andrew, one thing I'm always kind of intrigued by is, you know, some players' teams are very meticulous with their note-taking, going from pair to pair, game to game. Are you a player like that, or is it more just kind of feel as you go, or?
It depends. It really depends on the tournament. I will always go look at who I'm following. Now that I'm bowling the tour events, you kind of can just look at a sheet of paper and see who you're following, and you have a really good idea of how they're going to play the lanes. So it's a little simpler, because you kind of just say, okay, well, like if you're following Marshall, 90% of the time Marshall's going to be left of me. And that's okay. I know that, and you just plan for it. College, you always try to send a scout to look at a pair, figure out where they're playing, because so much can change in just one single game. I'm very curious, and I would love to ask the Grandview coach to see if he changed his game plan based on Wichita and Lindenwood starting on this pair. Newman, you can tell they haven't really changed their game plan. Off to a decent start, but I think they just kind of set a game plan and went with it.
194-171, the final tally. Newman up 1-0. His team switch lanes. The lineup for Grandview heading into this championship match, leading off Michaela Erickson, followed by Amanda Duplan, Hannah Duver, Becca Broerman, and Hannah Munson. For Newman, Haley Williams, Miranda Haney, Becca King, Leanne Vassbinder, and Kelly Mahacek. Thanks to Emil for getting those. And always important phonetically spelling out names as you get further into your broadcast career.
The Duver one is Duver and Mohacek, both. I'm very appreciative of Emil writing that down that way.
You learn by a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
Emil is a little more outgoing than I am, so he doesn't mind reaching out to folks and kind of initiating that conversation. A little more quiet about it, so every once in a while we'll have the good folks in the chat. If they're following a particular team, particular player who they know very well, they'll help us out. They'll let us know. And every once in a while it's always fun, you know, you get a parent or a player to come up and like, you realize you've mispronounced my name like 6 times already? It's like, oh, well, okay.
My first couple events on the tour, they brought on my sheet 3 times with my last name having 2 S's. They're like, you're from Sweden, right? No, Michigan. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Let me get you a new sheet. Next squad starts. My last name turns into Anderson again.
See, with a last name like Smith, I don't have to worry about that very often. You would think Anderson would be all right, too.
I think so, too, but they think I'm from Sweden. All right.
Nice cover there
That is
for the Jets.
them shooting at those spares with the spare balls is impressive. Not many shoot at their spares straight, especially at the 2-4-5 or 2-4-5-8. I think this is unfortunately where Grandview is going to struggle just a bit. The lanes have not progressed to the right as much as they have in the middle part of the lane because of who started before them. So Grandview's practically bowling in a fresh part of the lane where Newman has some carry down in front of the head pin. They have some breakdown a little bit to the right of them, so they have a little bit more miss room early on, it looks like. Don't quote me just yet because every time I've been wrong.
But you mentioned earlier, just kind of talking off camera, how much, knowing you have a kind of a board to get away with, even out here, board, 2 boards, all of a sudden that becomes a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, you throw a decent shot, and it has a really great result. Your confidence will get better, and it'll make you feel like you're throwing it better. A lot of younger bowlers, and I got caught up in it too, especially collegiate bowlers, get so caught up in what they're doing physically that they want to blame themselves all the time. But I promise you, good bowling helps good ball reaction. Good ball reaction helps good bowling.
It all works together. Grandview looking to get something going here.
Nice shot there.
Get up the hill. Becca Browerman.
Becca Browerman and Hannah Munson have been lights out throughout this event so far today.
Oh, ho, ho.
We roll 2 by Lane Bascom. Roll 3, I'm sorry.
Left-hander's best friend.
Left-hander's best friend. Left-handers, I'm not even going to say it. They have a lot of best friends. I love left-handers. The thing is, like, you can't be mad because if you could bowl left-handed, I would bowl left-handed. If I could bowl two-handed, I would. Jason Valmani is the best in the world. What he does, I'm just not very good at what he does.
In your defense, though, you are pretty good at what you do.
I appreciate that. Master in your own game. It's a big double. That's taking advantage of the roll 3.
How many hours do you think of practice this takes?
Well, listen, at Weber we had to do this too, but what they did is they gave us a packet. The women literally gave us a packet. They were like, yeah, here you go. Like, this is our cheers. Get ready to know 'em. I'm thinking they're on a bus here. They're like, hey, we got to make some new cheers. Someone's frowning, and they're like, hey, turn that frown upside down, and there you have it.
And I'm sure there's a certain amount that comes in. Another great shot there for Newman. You know, the classes before, they have theirs. They pass them along to new kids, but obviously new kids want to have their own imprint on the program. So yes, always intriguing to hear some new ones.
Yeah, really great shot from Kayla. Trying to get back in this match here. All right, well,
Right-hander's best friend.
They say when you have the right ball in your hand, you get the breaks.
Sometimes when it's your day, it's your day.
Yeah, this match is far from over. Best of 5. This is not the determining game. I think Grandview has some fight left.
That's all you can do in that situation. You see your opponents catch a break or two, and
Becca King.
uh-oh. That's a very good.
That's a fortunate break. Good 8.
Good 8.
That's a good 8. I bet you she's thinking the same thing.
could cut into this deficit a little bit here, and we'll make it 3 in a row. It's going to need some help, though.
No help on the looks as if right now we're going to see a 2-0 Newman lead. I've been wrong before.
201 max score out there for the Vikings. Just one more mark essentially gets.
Yeah. 244 max still for Newman. You know what we have on our hands here? If Newman locks this game up and wins the next one, that'll probably be the first time I've ever seen a sweep through the whole tournament. For every round. That would be quite the feat.
I know this because for every tournament that I work, you always seem to catch one match. Not that it's a bad thing, but you catch a few matches, go to 5, and that excitement draws. Game 7, you know, depending on the event, NCAA events go to 7 for their final match, and nothing beats a Game 7. But the idea of all sweeps, still a long way to go to get there. But Newman is going to have that opportunity. They just take care of this final few frames.
If I'm in Grandview's shoes, if Leanne makes a spare, the game would practically be over. I think because Hannah's bowling so well, you might give this 10th frame to somebody. You might try to change it up to get some different mojo going. But I'm not the coach. Just sometimes you can see how much excitement Newman's bowling with. You got the guys behind you. Grandview's fighting uphill at the moment. You need a little confidence booster. You really want to see Grandview get some confidence here.
Now, are you surprised that they haven't attempted to kind of move in to where Newman's trying?
I mean, because it goes by so fast. I mean, look at this. You're 2 games in, you're down 2-0, and you're not even thinking much. You just have a couple bad shots here and there. I think they might start thinking about it now, but I think they had so much success the last 2 matches getting here, doing what they're doing. They didn't really think much of it. I think that's the difference.
Well, we'll get to see those adjustments.
Before this round, I did say Newman. My prediction was Newman 3-1. I think that's still a possibility. I think Grandview is going to show some fight here this next game and get back into it.
Coming back to a lane that they've seen before. Shot 171. So definitely some room to trend up.
Yeah. The difference is Newman had they have a 4-bagger where they have a roll 2 and a roll 3. I mean, that game could be 180, 190 as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
That's why they played the game. Nothing but excitement here on Bowl TV. Once again, joined by Team USA member sounds like we have a lineup change from Grandview. So Hannah Munson going to be moving into 4th. Becca Broerman going to be taking over the anchor spot.
I like the move. I like it. You just got to change. You got to change something. I think you take a little bit of that pressure off of Hannah. She gets another really good shot going, and it just gives Becca some confidence. Now, if Newman gets off to a good start here, let's just say they have an early double. I think it's going to be a really big uphill battle.
Newman doesn't waste any time. Haley Williams getting up there, asking for some hold. Finds a little bit of trouble in the first.
Okay. I think she thinks she got 2.
I think so as well. That was. She felt good about it. Taking 2 for the team. Yeah, I was a little surprised that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a.
That is a
Whew.
that is a change of mindset there. Yep. Newman.
2 and 3 switched as well. So we were just jacking y'all up.
All right. So Hannah Duver is now in the 2-hole for Grandview, with Amanda Duplan in the 3rd position.
All right, coach, changing everything this game.
Gotta change it up.
But a good shake-up though.
I'm telling
Say
you,
gotta find.
sometimes you just gotta change the mojo, get the groove going a different direction.
Hannah delivers.
So Becca King has made some really, really good shots in key situations. See if she can get the double on the board with Newman. Okay.
Doesn't lose anything on count. But we've also seen a few shots, unfortunately, go a little bit further
Yes.
right, and you're not getting back from there if you're right at target.
Hannah, very fortunate to tend to go down late there. See, Becca wastes no time. All right. That's a spare. That's a good spare. I would have definitely taken a lot more time to think about how I was going to play that one. And Bassbinder, I believe a freshman for Newman.
Leanne, yes, first-year player for the Jets.
Very, very, very solid game. Simple. I know she's worked with John Gaines in Florida, Orlando area, I believe.
I believe Mr. Gaines is the. I remember a few years ago at Team Trials, Leanne actually made a run at 300
Okay.
that we caught on live stream, and I think I remember getting a text from John right afterwards saying, "Yep, it's one of my students right there." I'm like, "Oh,
Hannah's,
not surprised, John."
yeah. Hannah's struggling a little bit. That's the difference. Ball reaction there. I don't think Hannah's shot was that bad. I don't. I know she's probably thinking that I just didn't throw that very good, but ball reaction. It's crazy how much it determines.
So you're feeling Grandview just has that small of a window to work in at this point?
I do at this point. I think Newman's playing the lanes a little better for this pair in particular. If we're bowling on a different pair, where the right is more developed, it could be a totally different ball game.
Good attempt at the washout, but kicks the 10 right around, or kicks the 1 right around the 10.
Very good attempt. Alright, well, loses some count there.
We've seen count come into play a few times here,
That's a
both
good
in the
shot.
men's and the women's bracket. Great shot.
Yeah. Rebecca Drummond bowling really well. You know, I think I jinxed Hannah. I said she's been lights out, and she's had a couple rough shots since. I think she's gonna figure it out.
They're going to be relying on her in that 9th frame. Grandview definitely not ready to go home. Making it to the finals here at the Hoosier Classic. One half of a masking unit awaits the winner.
I don't think that was that bad of a shot. Let's see. Using a spare ball again. Like, they have some spare conversions.
That's a lot of trust in the spare game
Yeah,
right
that
there.
is- I think she made it. She made it. That is huge. What a spare attempt. And the washout. I mean, the washout on the fourth by hand, I thought she had that for sure. Game's still close. 9-pin lead halfway through for the Jets.
See that 3-9 pop up again. Here in the 7th for Miranda Haney.
I have a question for you. When they're difficult like this, what's the last spare you want to shoot at?
Personally or in general?
Let's say in general.
In general, I think most would probably lean towards 3, 6, 9, 10 right-handers or the 2, 4, 7, 8.
I figured you'd say that.
It's a very Randy Peterson answer.
Yeah, I think it would be the 5-pin.
The 5-pin.
If they're a little tough like this and you're missing that pin left and right at times, I think that 5-pin looks real scary standing there in the middle of the lane.
Squeezing a little bit more, thinking about it.
I saw, while I was watching down here, a couple of the teams that were real close to the cut and the Bakers before I headed back down. I watched 2 miss in a matter of seconds. And it just had me thinking. 3-9 is not an easy spare. And her using her spare ball to shoot it there is very surprising.
It's going to be a better shot for Becca and all 10 back.
That was a good shot. The King has made some really good shots. A couple that reach right, but
with that open in the 7th, Grandview has a chance. Let's move into the lead here. Likes it.
That was Amanda Duplan. Good shot there.
Good to see if Hannah can make the adjustment off of that washout.
Yeah, I think Becca's just biting at the bit here. That makes Hannah's job a little easier.
Does take the need to strike to hold on to the lead out of play. Spare and the Vikings will hold the lead going into the 10th. Looking to extend this match best of 5 for the title here at the Hoosier Classic. Good call, Mr. Anderson.
I got a couple.
It looked like that shot was a little more up the lane, a little, maybe even a little right to left.
I think that is for sure, and I think that's a little bit of where the problem might lie going forward. If you feel like you can't give the pocket away much, it makes it a little harder to make some really good shots. So 8 spare strike here locks it up for Grandview. That looks pretty good. 8.
Gets the 8.
8 falls late. Newman put some pressure on here.
A few pins fall.
So spare here. It is over. Grandview will be on the board. Good spare.
Now, when the coach makes I'm not going to say that was a huge lineup change, but just kind of switching people around. It's not, completely flopping the lineup here, there, everywhere. Just, how much do those little role changes affect a player's psyche?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I think that it changes the atmosphere because who you follow, because you have so many unique personalities, some people get a little more excited than others. I think their lineup change was more saying, let's put Becca at the bottom, who's been the aggressor here, and let's take some pressure off of Hannah. And as you can see, going in later in that game, Hannah had a lot less to worry about there. So I think that was the difference. I have no clue for the reason for the 2-3 change, but it worked.
not have the full sweep day.
No, no, we don't. But my prediction is on. It's on the board right here.
Newman responds nicely. After taking its first loss here in bracket play.
Third break from Grandview.
All right. Emil giving us a quick note that looks like a lineup change coming here for Newman. Kristen Mahacek going to be coming into the lineup.
Great shot. First coming in the lineup. That was a great, great shot. Becca King. Okay. You heard it here. Grandview showing some fight. This is going to get real interesting.
Some confidence for Grandview. Newman still loose out there, throwing good shots.
Becca King needs a good shot here to keep the ball rolling.
He's going to have a chance.
That's a good shot. Straight up. Nine to Dupont.
Oh. Gets to the pocket, but
That was a good shot. That ball did not have much energy there. Well, with a spare here, Newman could take the lead early on.
uh-oh. It bounced out of the
Alright.
gutter, so we're going to need a score correction there. So the A10 damage will be minimalized here.
1 pin lead. Unless she makes it. Bounce out. 1 pin lead for the Newman Jets. Day 3. Newman wins. They are the winners of the Hoosier Classic.
Grandview looking to keep its title hopes alive. Best of 5. Washout for Leanne.
It is. It is a roller coaster of a ride bowling. Throw a double, you're feeling good. See a miss spare, and sometimes one thing leads into another. Hannah looks really uncomfortable at the moment.
And a great shot in the 9th frame. Put her team in position to take game number 3. Washout conversion.
There has been more washout conversions than not today.
Freshman coming up big, making a great shot. A little love on the 4-pin there.
Really good shot.
Kelly's been making
Kelly.
quite a few quality shots at the bottom of that lineup.
Yeah, she's been making some good shots. Becca didn't like that one too much off her hand. I think if Haley Williams throws a strike here. There's going to be a lot of excitement coming out of this Newman team.
Chance to put some extra pressure here. They got one or two of those hits to fall earlier on lane 73. Staring down a 2-8 here in the 6th. Things looking troublesome for Grandview.
Yeah, up against the wall.
As you mentioned, the roller coaster of Baker. Off to a strong start, early double, live momentum from a nice 190 to 168 victory in game 3. But now, running out of frames here, you can kind of feel potentially this might be it.
If this is it, then my prediction was right. 3-1. Great shot. Kristen comes in, those two very, very quality shots.
Kristen, a 2015-2016 Dexter USBC High School All-American.
Great attempt by Michaela. Had to go for it there. I think for Grandview, regardless of what Becca does here, it's a must-strike situation. A must throw a good shot situation, I should say. Gotta get some confidence rolling here.
Oh,
Big double from Newman. Now I believe it's a must-strike situation because Newman spares out. They can have 2-0. Grandview throwing the next 6 as 209.
got to start with one. Could just see from the body language, she was
Man can
hoping
end
that
the
was gonna,
tournament.
hoping that was gonna
Seal the
hook. Never
coffin.
did.
Seal the coffin.
We're just about at victory lap time here for the Newman Jets.
Yep. Grandview's gonna take this. Take this as a learning experience. Head into sectionals and hopefully nationals with some confidence.
Both teams were looking for their first Tier 1 victory of the 2017-2018 season, and
Both have to be happy with their performances.
100% agree with you there, Mr. Anderson. 201 is going to be enough. Newman Jets are going to be your 2018 Hoosier Classic champions. They have a masking unit, or half a masking unit, I should say, awaiting them just behind us here.
That was always something so cool about this tournament. Hopefully, a couple of the seniors won't be able to come back and see it, but they're going to be on those walls for years to come. I don't see this tournament going anywhere, and always a great experience.
Definitely with the 50th coming up. Crazy to think. Collegiate bowling tournament, 50 years in the making. Definitely can't wait to see that one in 2019, but 2018 is going to be signed, sealed, delivered in just a few moments. William Penn on the men's side, Newman on the women's side. Your 2018 champions, Andrew Anderson. You called it.
3-1. It's crazy. I watched so much bowling, especially college bowling. You just kind of can see the emotional roller coaster and which way it's waving. Like, it was Newman's day. It's Newman's day. Grandview put on such a great performance, knocking out Wichita in 2 matches to none. Not many would have thought of that happening. Wichita being the 4-time returning champions. But what a great performance. I think the person that's going to take the most from this is probably Hannah. She struggled towards the end there. She just threw a really, really good shot on the ninth. But I bet you she wants to take some of those other ones back. They're going to learn from it. They're going to be a better team because of it.
Absolutely believe so and agree 100%. And you know, obviously, right now this part right here for Grandview is going to be the toughest part of it all. But
Yeah.
you're going to take some time, even if it's just a few hours afterwards, just kind of reset, refocus. Think about it. 66 of the top teams in the country come here to Indianapolis and to make it to the championship match. An amazing showing, but it's going to be at Newman 3-1. Matter of final score. Head coach Billy Murphy talking to his team right now. Going to let Grandview close things out here. Becca leaves the 2. They'll be in the 170s here.
Nothing to hang at about Grandview. Absolutely nothing. They're gonna 3 hours from now have some food, have some laughs, be like, oh, we're so close. And then a week from now they're gonna have a chip on their shoulder. Thanks for having me.
No problem, Andrew. Andrew Anderson joining us here on Bowl TV. Best of luck in the upcoming weeks. We expect to hear more big things from you on the PBA Tour.
Sure hope so.
And thank you for joining us here. All the great insight. And, of course, best of luck the rest of the way out, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, a live look in the post-game celebrations and handshakes, and now the ceremonial pins getting handed out by Nick Hoagland. Newman Jets, your 2018 champion. The first time in 5 years that we've had a new champion here on the women's side. The Jets are going to enjoy this victory. Billy Murphy and company, a fantastic job making their way through the bracket. Just one loss. Supportive crowd here on hand from the boys team. And now it's picture time. So now we're going to do our thing, so keep an eye out on bowl.com in just a little bit for a recap story of the action here at the 2018 Hoosier Classic. Of course, Sport of Bowling USBC on Facebook, at USBC on Twitter as well. You can catch all those updates there at US Bowling Congress on Twitter, or on Instagram, excuse me. And of course, Bowl TV. Thanks for joining us here throughout the course of the weekend. It's been fun as always. Shout out once again to Western Bowl for all the hard work. Great center, great facility, always taking care of us here in Indianapolis. H2M Management, Nick Hoagland, Dylan Murphy, Steve Harmon, Bo Shipley, Nick Harishny, anyone else who I may be forgetting right now. Thank you so much for everything you do for these great student athletes. Of course, all the parents, all the colleges, all the student athletes for putting on a show for us. And finally, thanks to each and every one of you for joining us here on Bowl TV. We couldn't do it without you as well and your support. So please be sure to subscribe on your way out the door. Give the thumbs up a like too. And be sure to look for that recap story on bowl.com in just a little bit. But for Emil Williams Jr., big thanks to Andrew Anderson, Team USA member and budding PBA star, for joining us here in the booth, offering some fantastic insight. Appreciate Andrew joining us here for a little bit. And of course, big thanks to everyone once again for joining us. I'm Aaron Smith, and that is going to conclude our coverage here on Bowl TV. It's been fun. We'll see you on Wednesday for the ITC sectional assignment show, as the USBC Collegiate postseason rapidly approaches. Find out where you're going for sectionals. Tune in to Bowl TV Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern. And that's going to do it for now. We're going to sign off here on Bowl TV. We'll see you next time. Thanks again for joining us.